How you doing, Juan?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
So I'm guessing you got a little baseball background after I saw you last night.
Yeah, I got a little bit. I mean, last time I played baseball, I was probably like 9 or 10 years old. I used to play in the backyard all the time, so that's why I kind of know how to handle a baseball. Most football players never play baseball, and they try to throw the baseball with it right directly in their palm so they never can get it there. But I know how to actually throw a baseball a little bit.
I heard A-Walk was struggling over here trying to get ready for tonight. For today.
I didn't see it, but I also heard the same thing. So I'm excited to see his pitch because it's going to be bad. I already know it is.
Did Kelsey make you nervous a little bit seeing his, and you're like, dude, I just can't do that.
No, I wasn't nervous. I'm a natural athlete. I'm a natural athlete, so the only thing I wanted to do, I wanted to get to the plate. I wanted to actually throw a strike. It was outside a little bit, but I'm still proud of my pitch.
Juan, why did you want number 1?
So me in Kansas City, I was number 22, and when I got here, Grant was already number 22. So I'm not the type of guy that will try to like pay for a jersey or anything. I just felt like it was just time for a new start, and number 1 it seemed nice. Like it just is a nice catch to it, like the chosen one, the one and only. So yeah, that's why I picked number 1, and it carries you in a different way. Like you have to carry yourself when you're number 1 because everybody feel like you're like that guy, and I want to be seen as that because every day. I do. I feel great. You know, when you wear number 1, you just feel like you gotta look nice, you gotta play better. I like that feeling.
Juan, can you just talk about on social media? You know, you've already having a little bit of fun with the fans.
Oh yeah.
Just talk about being positive. Can you just sort of address that a little bit?
So my tweet's not really anything negative. It's just like in Kansas City, I use them because that's where I was before. But in Kansas City, like those fans there, they were, I would say, too cocky. Like they were just like, we're gonna win this week, and the players can feel that. Like when you walk into the stadium, you know that you're gonna win, and everyone is behind you. You don't want to be walking around with fans saying, I don't know if you're gonna win or not. I hope we win this year. Like we don't want to see that as a team. We want them guys to be behind us, pushing us every day, and be like, we're gonna win. And once you have your fans backing you up, it makes us want to play harder for you as fans.
Can you understand that 3 Super Bowl appearances there in Kansas City, and this team has never been there?
It's all good. Like I said, it's a new start. Like whatever happened last year is last year. This is a new year, and this is what we're working for, is to get to the Super Bowl this season.
But I mean, as far as the fans go, I mean, they're all in a good mood for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. When you're winning a lot, you're not going to sit here and expect to lose. So, I mean, the fans definitely play a big role in that.
So, how would you describe the difference in Kansas City fans and Browns fans during your small interactions on social media?
I can definitely see a lot of similarities. Like they're definitely confident. I mean, they support the team for sure. I'm not saying they don't. And I heard a lot. Like once I got here, they said the Brown fans are crazy. They be going nuts on game day. And in Kansas City, it was the same way. So I would say they're very similar in that way.
So what will you do to help this Browns team get to the Super Bowl?
I mean, they brought me here to win, so they brought in a great guy to help go get the football, get turnovers, get the ball back to Deshaun in the offense. So that's what they brought me here for, just to lock up any receiver that I'm going against.
We've talked about what it could be with Jim Schwartz, but now that you've actually been on a field with him now, just what are your impressions?
We got Jordan Atkins over here too.
So with Coach Schwartz, I like what he's doing. Like right now, he's not really putting guys in a free safety spot, a strong safety spot. We're just playing left and right, just basically so we can learn every position pretty much. So I like him because he just let guys play football and play fast. So that's the main thing.
He's like really hands-on when he's out there with you guys.
Oh yeah, he got a lot of energy for sure. He got a lot of energy, and he wants his guys to be great and make a lot of plays. So he looks out for his players for sure.
Juan, just seeing how you are on social media, and even here, like, are you the kind of guy, a player who's like, you want to speak something into existence, like you're going to be overly positive,
Definitely.
kind of regardless of the circumstances?
Listen, they say if you speak negative things will happen. That's what I truly believe. So if you sit here and speak positive, those positive things will happen. If you say you're going to win, and you step on that field believing you're going to win, more than likely you're going to win. I mean, you're going to play your hardest to get there. So I'm definitely that type of guy that want to be positive and bring like everyone to the room and just enjoy everything together.
When just being out there with Grant actually on the field, what's it been like kind of getting familiar with him and actually playing out there with him?
I mean,
and Rodney, too?
it's new because like I've been somewhere for 4 years, having to learn his style of play, how he likes to play. But it's definitely coming together. We're starting to figure each other out a little bit more because I saw that a little bit today. Us not having to really speak too much to each other, and we just know what each other's going to do. So I'm excited to play with him this year.
What do you think Za'Darius is going to bring to this defense?
Who?
Za'Darius?
So, I mean, the guy's a beast. I mean, just look at him. He made it to the Pro Bowl. Who's going to stop him? I mean, you got him. You got Garrett up front. You got all the other guys. They're going to put pressure on the quarterback. So they definitely going to bring the heat, which allows us to make more plays.
I mean, you're one of the first pieces brought into this defense, kind of the reconstruction of the defense. Were you surprised that Andrew Berry kept adding with such a big name as Za'Darius, kind of so late in the offseason?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, because if you talk about the history, I mean, the Browns didn't really win last year, so AB's going to bring in as many guys as possible to win. He wants to win. No one wants to lose, so I'm not surprised at all.
With all the winning you had with the Chiefs, what made you sign here when you were a free agent?
So I like to be like the underdog a little bit, you know, going into the season, not everyone thinking that you're going to be like the number one team. Like Kansas City, everybody put them up there at number one. They think they're going to win every year. But me coming here, I feel like I can add something to the team and bring something to the team to get us to that top level. And I just will feel accomplished if we did that.
Juan, last year there was a lot of communication problems. Obviously you weren't here, but has that been discussed at all since you've gotten here, trying to make that an emphasis to clean up?
I wasn't, not really. We don't really talk about too much about last year. Like I said before, it's a new season. With me, I'm the type of guy that likes to be very vocal. So I'm gonna try to get my guys lined up as much as possible and be pretty like good at what I do. So yeah, we don't talk too much about last year.
Being out here today around the defense, especially with Schwartz, what are some adjectives you use to describe the defense today and just being out there?
Fast, smart, and very intelligent.
Can you talk about your relationship with Rodney, and how do you think that you guys together are going to help kind of set the tone, and not just in the back end, but for the whole defense?
So with Rodney, he's actually played in this scheme before. He knows a lot more than we do. So he came in day one, giving us little like nuggets to help us play better. So we both went to the University of Virginia, so we kind of know each other a little bit, and I just feel like we can relate in that standpoint. But Rodney's a great guy to add to the room. He's been here for a while. He's been in the NFL. He knows what to expect. So he's a great guy to have in your room to help you play better.
Well, what made you get that tattoo?
So if you really look at the tattoo, I actually have the Brown and the Kansas City Chiefs, and then what round I was drafted. So what I'm gonna do with this arm is actually just track my journey pretty much. So that's pretty much how I got it.
What made you go with the elf as opposed to the helmet?
I mean, that's what's in the middle of the football field, so that's why I pretty much went with the elf.
Do you know why Jim Schwartz is wearing a jersey today?
I do.
Why?
So we had a guy, 51. I think that's the number he was wearing today. 51. He, in the team meeting today, he basically brought us all in and he let him give his speech, and pretty much he just wanted to support him pretty much in his journey here, how hard he works. So that's pretty much why I wore 51.
Good. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Here he comes.
Everybody doing good?
Good, you?
Everybody fine. I like that suit, man. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Preakness.
Za'Darius, what was your reaction when you got the news you were getting traded to Cleveland?
I was excited. You know, I get a chance to play in a 4-3 system, and that's something that I never played in while I was in the league. So I was happy, man, and knowing that I get a chance to go be with Dalvin Tomlinson again and get a chance to be with Miles, man, it's a great feeling.
You spent so much time playing outside linebacker, right? But you're big enough to play in.
Yes, sir.
Do you think it's going to be a natural transition for you, something you've been looking forward to?
Yeah, it'll be natural because I played it in college. And, you know, I played it in junior college. And my first year of high school, that was my first time playing football. I was a 4-3 in. So I'm used to it, but it's been 8 years. So I'm trying to learn the new techniques and get back to what I used to do, man. Yep, hand in the dirt. Yep.
How excited are you?
Myles Garrett, are you really looking forward to, I know he wasn't here today, but have you talked to Myles Garrett yet? And how much are you looking forward to playing on the same line?
I can't wait. I did get a chance to talk to him. Once I did get the news, I think NFL posted it, and he sent me a text message telling me that he can't wait to get going, and hopefully we could be the best duo in the league. And I was telling him, man, like the D-line, we got to come up with a name for the room. So he was like, all right, I'm going to get some shirts. We're going to make it big. So that chemistry already, I can tell it's going to be great this year.
Za'Darius, going off of that, during your time with the Packers, you and Preston Smith had a tandem doing your press conference together and such. How do you anticipate your tandem with Myles Garrett being different, just personalities-wise? I mean, if we're being honest, Myles Garrett's totally different.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like once he get here, I'll be able to get a feel for him, you know. They say he don't talk much, he's kind of shy a little bit, but we're going to get him to open up, man. We're going to have a good time while I'm here, for sure.
Do you have a name for the room yet, then?
No, we don't. Yes, sir.
Do you come in sort of feeling like, you know, in some ways, you know that he's kind of, you know, the man here, the alpha dog here, or do you come in feeling like, hey, I'm a 3-time Pro?
You know what? I don't even think about that. I just play my role as a player, and when you go into a team, different team, you know, you can't focus on that stuff. You know, you got to be all about the team and helping the team win.
What's it going to be like going against the Ravens now twice a year after all the time you were with them?
Man, it's going to be fun. I know a small situation happened last year where I was supposed to go back, but it didn't work out. But now that I get a chance to face them, man, it's going to be fun. I actually work out with a couple of guys in Orlando, Gus the Bus. I've been telling him, hey, I catch him, I'm going to have to pop him 1 or 2 times. But, you know, it's all fun and games because we're still friends, man. And just can't wait. See John Harbaugh, see Lamar. It's going to be fun this year.
Yeah. So what is the secret to containing Lamar since when it would go against him?
Everybody got to be in their gap. Everybody got to know their assignment because if he get loose, we all know what can happen. So just when that time get here, we'll be able to prepare the right way and hopefully contain him. Yeah.
Are you glad to be back in the AFC North? Is it a different kind of football that you enjoy?
Sort of, kind of. Like I was telling you, I've been in the 3-4 system for the past 8 years, so getting a chance to put my hand back in the dirt and be a natural 4-3 in is going to be big for me. Yes, sir.
Why it didn't work out in Baltimore?
Baltimore? I don't know, man. It was something where somebody leaked something and said that I agreed to the deal, but I never did. And a lot of Baltimore Ravens fans are upset about that. So, like when I said, when I get ready to go back, it's going to be pretty fun because a lot of people may be booing and a lot of people may be, you know, happy for me at the same time. So, it's all fun and games at the end of the day, man.
What did you know about Jim Schwartz?
Jim Schwartz?
Yeah.
Great DC, man. You talking about the DC? Yeah, man, great DC. I got a chance to talk with him when I first came in, and he was telling me all the things that he wanted me to do. And he was like, man, we just need you to get off the ball, man. We know that you haven't had that in the past 8 years. And if I had the opportunity, I probably would have had 100 sacks by now. But I'm just happy to be here, man. Happy to be with him. Happy to be with the coaching staff, man. This is a great organization. Can't wait.
How much impact? I was going to ask, with the last couple of years, knowing you've had double-digit sacks in 3 of the last 4 years, coming into this system where the goal is to have those guys up front, get to the quarterback, have the sacks spread out. How exciting is that for you? How much higher do you think your ceiling can get?
I like it. I like the question. I feel like it'll be great because, like I said, when I first started playing football, I was in a 4-3 system. And I was always taught to just go get the quarterback, affect them. You know, in this situation, being here now, I get the opportunity to do that. So I just can't wait. Can't wait to get going, man, and hopefully I have double-digit sacks again this year, for sure.
How much impact do you think you can have on a defense that's kind of been reconstructed, and a team that really has high expectations for itself?
I say by doing the little things. Team bonding, you know. We were just talking in the D-line room today, and I was telling the guys, let's go out to eat tonight. You know, doing little things like that, man, to bring guys together and closer and learning one another help us a lot as far as in the D-line and as far as the football team.
What's your NFL Defensive Player of the Year aspirations? I mean, it seems like you really have the talent to be able to achieve that. Is that on your bucket list?
I feel like it is, but, you know, my main goal right now is get a ring. You know, that's something that I never had experienced. So that's the #1 goal is help this team win a Super Bowl. Well, first of all, win the North, well, win the division, and then go on and play in the Super Bowl. But after that, hopefully I can get a Defensive Player of the Year. I think they was close to saying something last year about it, but as we all know, I got hurt. But, you know, I don't focus on that. Self-goals is something that's going to come once you play part of the team, once you do your job, basically.
You were off to such a great start last year.
Yes, sir.
How frustrating was it to have, it was the knee, right, that slowed you down?
Yeah, it wasn't frustrating. A lot of people didn't know in my contract I had it to where I had to play every game to get my bonus. So certain situations, coach was just telling me, give it all you can and then we'll just rest you from there. So I wasn't as effective as I was at the beginning of the season, but I'm all healthy now and ready to go. Yes, sir.
I think you've been on 3 teams that have won their division.
Yes, sir.
So being in the playoffs, that's not the first thing that came out of your mouth. It's winning the division.
Yes, sir.
Why is that? Why is that?
Because that's where it starts. I feel like if you set goals, it got to start from there. You know, if you don't win the division, it's really not a possibility of going to the Super Bowl. I'm not just going to say it like that, but it happened that way. And that's something that we need to focus on. A lot of guys don't focus on that. They just talk about the Super Bowl, you know. But the main goal is to win the division first, be on top, and hopefully go to playoffs, get a bye, and go from there.
How confident are you that the Browns are getting the Za'Darius that had the 13.5, the 12.5, and the 10?
For sure.
Not the second half.
Yeah, I just told you earlier, I had a chance to rest. I couldn't rest last year because every game I think I was making like $200,000 just to dress out. So you would dress out too, right? Exactly. So now what's different for me, I had a chance to rest my knee, you know, get some rehab, and actually train my trainer in Orlando. And I've been out here working and I haven't felt nothing, so I feel perfectly fine.
Darius, the jump when you got to Green Bay, was it just a change of scenery? Was it a system?
What you mean?
I mean, you look at the production, sack production specifically. Was there one thing specifically you point to
that helped
that?
The bonding of the team, like I was telling you about, getting to know one another. This guy may be weak at doing this, and you can help him, you know, teach him something that can basically help his game grow. And for me, I had a chance to do that with Preston and Rashawn Gary, you know. So they always couldn't focus on me. They had to focus on them too, you know. And here we have the same thing, like guys like Miles, and we got a bunch of young guys coming up, man, and DT now here. So it's going to be hard to just pick one guy, you know what I'm saying, to go to, because you're going to leave the other 2 and other 3 guys open. So
Darius, what's it like being, you know, here with Dalvin, coming here at the same time? What's it like playing next to him?
It's fun. You know, he actually went to Alabama, and I'm actually from Alabama. So we got a little chemistry from back home. But just all in all, man, Dalvin is a great guy. Like to draw, man. He's creative and a family man. So just being around good people like that also helped me become a great guy. So that's one of the main reasons.
Those benchmarks that you mentioned, you know, winning the division, it's stuff that this organization just hasn't done in the longest time.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
So I guess just what can you bring? You know, Browns have had talent. So what can, I guess, you bring as far as the intangibles go to maybe help them get over that hump and really get the most out of that talent that you guys have?
I feel like the leadership and just keep harping in on it, you know, just keep saying it, because once you do that, it can happen, you know, speak it into existence. And I'm big on that. Like I said, just doing the little things, staying after practice, you know, getting some extra reps, you know. Before, I was talking to some of the guys about fixing their feet, because some can get reached and they'll get cut off, you know. And I could tell them, like, look, in the backfield, you can see the near gun and far gun sets. Focus on those type of things, you know what I'm saying, to help your game. So I feel like doing the little things like that will help us go a long way, this football team.
I know you've only been here for a minute, but this is the first practice since Jim Brown has passed. And I just wondered if you had any reflections on him as a player or a person.
Man, growing up, I got a chance to watch him, and I also saw the call where he did with Miles, man, and that was special. But, man, you got to always respect the OGs in the game, and he was one of the greats, you know, that I always looked up to. A lot of other guys, too. He's not going anywhere, but, like, guys like Ray, you know. Those are great guys that are going to leave a legacy, man, and that's something that he did for us here in Cleveland.
sorry, when you talk about having guys like Miles and Obo at the end position, I know you've had some success rushing from the inside.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy doing that? Is that something you could see yourself doing here too?
You know what? I don't want to answer that question because I may give something off to the other teams. But nah, man, I like playing every position. You can really put me anywhere. You know, I'm versatile. You know, play 0, play 3, play the end, play linebacker some too. But you know, it's all in all, man. It's gonna be a fun year. I just can't wait, man.
Hey, Za'Darius,
I answered that the best way I could.
why did you want to redo your contract after?
Where in Minnesota?
Yeah.
For one, it wasn't set up right. You know, going through Green Bay, you know, my last year I had the injury, and a lot of teams started to say this and that about Z, but it wasn't about that. You know, I'm always a team guy. You can call any player from any facility that I've been in and ask them about who Z really is, you know. But a lot of people make stories up, and it just didn't work out. You know, I hated that. Wish I could have stayed and been a Smith bro with Preston, but, you know, just happy to be here now, man, and get a new fresh start, man, and continue my career here.
So when you say it wasn't set up right, was money not?
No, it was the guaranteed part. The first year was only guaranteed, so I mean, now I'm basically in the same situation, but it's okay now because I can get a chance to go into free agency next year. Yes, sir.
Youngest teams in the league. When you come into this and you're seeing there's some raw talent and you don't know the ceiling for some of these guys, how does that make you feel entering a team with that kind of talent and potential?
Being the older guy, you know, I'm the vet now, so I can get a chance to help those younger guys. You know, I've been around a lot of great leaders like Terrell Suggs, C.J. Mosley, Eric Weddle, you know. So I know a couple of things that can help us get better. Like he said earlier, every team that I've been on, we won the division. So it wasn't for no reason, but just helping them grow as players and just teaching them the game, the little things about playing football.
What motivates you most now at this stage of your career, where you're at?
Going into year 9, not having a ring, family, you know, got to take care of family. And just leaving a legacy, man. Doing what I'm doing for the young guys. Hopefully they can do it when they get a little bit older and tell them like, hey, Z was the guy who helped me, you know. I would love that, but just leaving my legacy here, man, and for my kids, and when they grow up, they can be like, oh, you Za'Darius Smith's son, you know. So little things like that, yeah, for sure.
We'll do the last one here for American.
Okay.
Just watching you in photos and little video clips and stuff like that since the day that you signed here.
Yes, ma'am.
You look really happy.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look really, really happy.
Fresh start.
Can you sort of describe, you know, why are you so happy right now?
Because it's the beginning of something special. Yeah, okay, all right. That's a great answer.
That is a
All right, cool. Appreciate it. Thank y'all. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Stock. Sorry, my shit.
Oh my god.
Look at this.
Oh, Ben. Trying to do the best.
Camera ready.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How's it been? How's it been getting acclimated with Deshaun?
It feels good. I feel good. I'm glad to be with the team. I feel like practice has been going smooth, so I can't ask for them, you know, anything better.
What did you guys get out of the Puerto Rico trip? I know there was some pleasure, some work. What was that?
A little bit of both. It was a smooth week of just connecting and, you know, gelling with the teammates, the camaraderie. I got to learn a lot of them boys, you know, from a different perspective, and I feel like it's only going to help out here. So we all stayed until like Friday, and then we came back and got straight back to work.
What's it been like working with Amari? I know you talked with your introductory Zoom about how excited, how much you kind of looked up to him. Now being around him for a while, what's that been like for you?
It's been cool. I'm getting to learn his personality more. You know what I'm saying? A quiet dude, but definitely has a lot to say. As far as I should have caught that. Y'all would have been like, but a quiet dude, but he definitely has a lot to say. I could tell he's super smart and he loves football. So I didn't really get to see him do too much. You know, he's getting himself right. But as far as a person, I feel like he's super cool.
Do you feel like you're going to have to be the sort of louder voice in that wide receiver room a little bit?
I feel like I got to be whatever the team needs me to be. You know, it calls for different moments and different times, but we all got to put our head down and work too. You know You know, if that's what it takes, you know, not say nothing and be the person of example. That's that's what I got to be. You know, if I got to speak up, I got to speak up.
It's one thing to look at a playbook and then you know, maybe hear from the coaches their visions for your role and what the offense is going to be, but to actually get out on the field and start to kind of feel it, just what are your first impressions?
Yeah, it's nothing like it. You know, I've been training, and I feel like I hold myself to train really, really hard and to put myself in the best position. But like we were all saying after practice yesterday, it's nothing like being out here doing it for real. You know, I feel good about everything. We're taking it one day at a time, and I feel like, you know, it's gonna be what we want it to be.
What is the biggest adjustment getting used to a new team?
Probably just learning everybody, and then the quarterback with the, you know, different quarterback, different arms, seeing what he sees, and just the communication around the team. You know, everyone communicates different, but I feel like it's gonna go well. So, you know, I can't complain.
What have you learned by being around Deshaun for the last whatever months?
He loves football. You know, that was the first thing off the rip. Like, I was probably most excited, you know, to see up and close, because I heard all the stories growing up. You know, watching him in college, seeing all those national games and watching him work and stuff like that. So seeing how much he loves football, like we were in the hotel and he's in the playbook. Like when we chilling on the beach, we just got done working out, we all got to work on it, and he's still in the playbook. You know, so seeing how he is with that only gives us more confidence, like, okay, like, let us go look at the playbook one more time. You know, like, so I can't ask for nothing better.
I know as a quarterback he seems to, you know, really excel in scramble drill and improvising a little bit. Like, do you think that those skills suit you and that you guys have kind of a natural chemistry to be able to excel in that area?
I feel like we don't have a choice. You know, with him having that, you know, component of with his legs, I feel like you have to be good at the off-schedule stuff. You know, it's just gonna have to be part of the game.
Is that off-schedule stuff like exciting for you as
a receiver? Yeah, I feel like, man, they get tired, we keep running. We run all day anyway, so I guess it's just another tally for us as far as like positive.
Elijah, when the trade got made, a lot of people said, you're perfect. This is just what this offense was kind of missing. Do you feel that when you get into that wide receiver room, when you get out there with the offense, that you're kind of that missing piece?
Yeah, man, to hear that positivity as far as speaking on my name, I can't do anything but feel blessed, you know, to be in the opportunity that I'm in right this moment. You know, it feels good to be wanted. And it's going to make any player, any human go harder when you feel like that and you feel like you're around people who want you to be here. You know, so I'm going to give it all I got, you know, every single day.
Do you feel like when you look at the trajectory of your career so far, you started off really strong as a rookie, things didn't go exactly the way you wanted them to last year, and do you feel like it's just going to be kind of like up and up from here?
Yes, man, that's why I came here. And if you're not thinking like that as any player, then you have the wrong mindset. You know, I hold myself to be a positive person. Obstacles come just like how I handled last year, and I feel like it only put me in a better position to go through life, let alone football now. You know, so from this point on, I'm looking to be a better human being, a better football player, a better brother, mother, whatever it is. You know, because that just didn't affect. You know, I love football. That season didn't just affect football; it affected my life. You know, whether it was good and bad. You know, so I got to learn from it.
Do you feel like people got the wrong impression of you as a person from the stuff that came out from the season?
Social media is gonna do its thing. Media is gonna do its thing. The people in the building know who I am and what I stand for and what I do when I go home and how I am. So I can't really like live for trying to prove myself to everybody else, and I'm still learning that. Of course, I would want everyone to see like how much time I put into it, how much I love football, how much I watch highlights, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? But they're gonna see it, you know, in due time, and I gotta trust that. You know, I hold myself as a high person of faith, and knowing that I can't worry. You know, so it's gonna come to the light when it's exactly supposed to.
What's the story behind those checkered flags on your tattooed on your
Marathon, man. Nipsey Hussle, someone that I looked up to as far as the mindset, as far as what he stood for, principles as a man. I feel like what he presented and what he showed time and time again and what he spoke about was life. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna happen when you want it. You know what I'm saying? Or even if it does, like you're gonna have moments time and time again that you get to show what you stand for and how you react to things and what type of man you are. You know what I'm saying? We all leaders in the world. I hope you guys hold yourself to be leaders too. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everyone's watching you guys too. What you post, what you this, what you that. So I hold myself to be someone that if I'm not good at it now, I'll be good at it later. if it's a negative now, I'll make it a positive later. You see what I'm saying? Whatever it is, I'm gonna learn from it. It's not gonna happen when I want it to happen, but I'm gonna make it happen. You see what I'm saying? So I hold myself to that.
With Deshaun's talent as a quarterback, what type of an impact do you think that's going to have on you as a player, playing with someone like him?
I feel like it's going to have a great impact for what he has done, years before, and for what I've seen him do in practice time and time again, and just the off-season work as far as the type of person he is. You can't do nothing but be confident in what type of person and what he's going to do out there. So,
piggybacking off of that, the guys around you. It's early, but so far, what have you seen from them that you think is going to be able to elevate your game and get the most out of you?
I feel like all the receivers, and I start with my receiver group first, I feel like they're all different, and I feel like that's a good thing. When you have all the same type of guys, it's like you're kind of seeing the similar things, and knowing that we're all different body types, different people are good at different things, so we all get to take it and watch what we see and put it in our bag, So I feel like that component alone is kind of all we need.
Good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Also the Cleveland official league.
Okay, first of all, I want to start with my very sincere condolences to Monique, to the entire Brown family, to all of the friends and family and fans of Jim Brown. As you all know, we lost somebody very, very important to our franchise, to our league, to our society. The impact that he had was immeasurable. I'm sure there's people that knew Jim as a player, as a friend, much better than I did, so I can't add a ton to that. But my brief interactions for me I'll never forget just talking to him the first day I got hired. I got on the phone with him, which was a thrill. I was able to meet Jim over the years a couple times, and just a mountain of a man in many ways. And we lost a very, very, very big part of our family. There will be time, as you know, over the next few days, weeks, months, years to memorialize Jim, and we'll let you know what the plans are as we keep moving forward. But obviously I just want Monique and her family to know that we're thinking about them. And that's something that I know our players and coaches and staff here are constantly thinking about that. With today, OTA number 2, great to get back out here with everybody and moving around and competing against each other. I thought the energy was there. I really like how the guys are working every single day, taking the meeting room to the grass. So a really good second day, and then we'll get our third day in tomorrow before we break this first group of OTAs, and then we'll start back up next Tuesday. But with that, I'll take any questions.
Kevin, what's your thought on the new kickoff rule and the impact, the short-term and long-term impact it could have on
Yeah, I think it remains to be seen. I think it's a good question. I don't know. I think we need to see how that all goes. I'm all for player safety and anything that helps in player safety. I also, we get asked what we think about the rules, but the rules are the rules. We'll adhere to them, whatever they are. But it's definitely at this point in the game, where we are in May, we got to look at it and see what our plan is now that that's a rule.
Kevin, another rule is the third quarterback rule being active in order to be used.
Mm-hmm.
Does that lead you to favor keeping a third quarterback
active
rather than on the practice field?
Good question. I think that's definitely something that we're talking about. We got time before we make that decision, but I do think that will potentially adjust some people's thinking.
Thoughts on seeing 99 out there the first time running around and what he can add to this?
Yeah, Za'Darius has been awesome just having him in the building. He's a ball of energy. He's great around our players, our young players. He practices hard. He does a great job out here when he's in the building, in the weight room, in the meeting rooms, on the field. He brings some juice to what we're doing.
How do you think he can help Miles and kind of vice versa?
Yeah, I think all good players want to play with other good players, and I think it brings out the best in each other. I think competition obviously breeds that, but also when you're pushing, when you have good players, particularly on either side of the ball, or either side of the formation, I should say, that are pushing each other, I think it has the ability to bring out the best in you.
You've been around Juan Thornhill now for a little bit more than a month. So what have you seen? What does he bring to this team that you can't just measure in statistics from Kansas City?
Yeah, well, he brings good experience in playing some big football games and playing and performing and playing at a high level in big games. So there's great experience there. I think he's very cerebral. So at that position and what Coach Schwartz is asking our guys to do, I think is important. And I think he's done a nice job.
Kevin, how would you describe your first overall impression of this defense out on the field? Because Schwartz is new, there's a lot of new faces and personalities as well.
Yeah, I think, we're so early into our installation that we're still scratching the surface. I mean, there's many more meetings and many more things that we'll get to, but I think the energy's there. I really love watching the coaches coach. I think they're all doing a great job working with young players to old players, because like you mentioned, it's new for a bunch of people. I think Rodney McLeod could probably coach it up based on his experience, but for a lot of these guys, everything's new. So when you run a coverage for the first time, you may make a mistake early, and that's okay. So we're just trying to clean up any mistakes, but I think all told, I think they're doing a really nice job.
Kevin, what do you remember most about that first conversation with Jim Brown, and what were your personal takeaways from those interactions with him?
Yeah, Tom, my dad grew up and was, grew up in Philadelphia, but was a huge Jim Brown fan, and that's not uncommon for a lot of people growing up at that age. I don't care where you were growing up, you became a Browns fan, you became a Jim Brown fan early on in your life. So for my dad, his two, he loved Wilt Chamberlain, loved Jim Brown. So for me, after I hung up the phone with Jim, I very quickly called my dad, and he couldn't believe it. So and then just having him in town, I think it was a couple years ago, just spending some time with him. I mean, just unbelievable what he's been through in his life, and we've educated our players on that. Last year we took him down to the Hall of Fame, and we watched the football life of Jim Brown. So it's my job to continue to educate our guys on what he's meant to our franchise, to our league. You stand on the shoulders of giants, and that's Jim Brown.
Considering what you said about the defense being new, is it at all annoying that Garrett's not here?
That's I'm not going to characterize it. I think it's a voluntary program, Tony, and the guys that are here, we coach them up. That's how we approach it.
Kevin, if you're a return guy, and that's a big part of your game, and that's how you make a roster, are you worried that they are now kind of driving you out of the game?
Yeah, I think we have to see how the rule plays out, Jim. I think there's a lot of uncertainty there. I think there are different. I think if you ask, you might get two different reasons or two different answers as to what impact that rule will have, whether it increases returns or decreases returns. So I really think it remains to be seen. The kicking game is very important to us. We're not going to take the foot out of football. So we always got to make sure that that's a staple of what we do, is making sure we're great in all of our coverage and return phases.
Kevin, you were in Minnesota that year. He had the real breakout year with Green Bay in 19. What do you remember about that version of Za'Darius, and how have you seen him, as you kind of watch film of him the last couple of years, how much is that change?
Yeah, we've all gone against him, really on our offensive staff. Everybody's got stories of going against him. He's a game wrecker. He's really difficult to defend in the run and the pass. He gives you an honest day's work. He's got heavy hands. He plays hard. He's even made a few plays just in these drills, in these jog throughs where you just watch his movement skills. He's big and thick and can move. So he's done a really nice job.
Do you think the fair catch rule will result in more squib kicks?
It kind of goes back to what I said earlier, Tony. I don't know. I know that's definitely something that has been talked about, but I think every team, being that the rule has changed this late, I think everybody needs to work through ultimately what their plan is, but that is definitely a potential outcome of that.
Is Bubba Ventrone the first coordinator you've worked with to actually run the reps as they're being done?
Yeah, Bubba's in great shape. I get to see Bubba work out. He probably could still play. So it's the old do as I say, not as I do. Well, he can actually do it. So he's and we'll even watch some tape of Bubba in his meetings. He'll pull up some tape with the long locks flowing out of that helmet. So yeah, but he's done. We're again kind of going back to the earlier question about our defense. We're being very diligent about how we build this thing, and Bubba and Coach Bravo, they've done a nice job of really laying the foundation of what we're doing.
Kevin, DeQuell Jackson is here.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what capacity and what it's like to have him around?
Yeah, DeQuell's been great. I've spent a little bit of time with DeQuell over the years, got to spend some more time with him at the Combine. I think the world of him. This building thinks the world of him. So he's visiting with us this week, just having him meet with different people and spend some time with different people and impart some of that knowledge that he's had over that career. And I think that's totally invaluable for our young players. What ultimately it means, for his future, I think that also remains to be seen. But just it's a visit and let him get to know different areas of our building.
Is there a story why Schwartz is wearing them?
There is. There's always a story. That's something that Coach has done over his career, and I'll let him explain it more in more detail when you guys talk to Coach next week. But really what he's doing is he's telling the players about another player that's doing it the right way, a guy that's doing it how we want it done, that's embodying what we do out on the practice field, in the meeting room. So Coach Schwartz was a fan of Jordan today. That's not, you'll see he's a fan of a bunch of guys over the course of these practices, but Jordan's a guy that continues to always do what he's supposed to do, so Coach is giving him some love for that.
Kevin, having guys out there like Anthony Walker, Sammy Takitaki, and other people who aren't working but they're working out, how important is it that they're in the mix too and they're talking to guys and having them out there?
Yeah, that's a good point, Cam. I think for those guys, when you're not practicing for whatever the reason, you can still have a huge impact both for yourself and for your teammates. So, for example, the quarterbacks that aren't getting the rep, if you watch them behind, they're getting the mental rep of that play. So they may go through the footwork. So you can stay engaged even when you're not getting the rep. And then for a guy that's maybe injured, to be able to talk to a young player who's, as you can imagine, their heads are swimming at times right now. So to put your arm around a young receiver and tell them about alignments, tell them about their assignment, their technique, that type of thing. When it comes from an Amari or a Sione, I think it means a little bit more.
Kevin, what have you seen from Deshaun developing that chemistry at this stage of the offseason with the new pass catchers you guys have brought in?
Yeah, I think that's why we are here. That's why we have this offseason program. Marquise Goodwin and Deshaun really throwing together for the first time. As you add new players and adding Elijah to the mix, you want, as a quarterback, to all these reps, you take mental notes and you're thinking about how a player came out of this route, how he came out of that route, and every single rep, whether it's in individual period or it's in a team period or it's in a 7-on-7, you're constantly adding that to the checklist, if you will, so that you get to understand your players, because that's important. We may run a 6-step route, and the 6 steps that player A takes are a little bit longer than the 6 steps that player B takes. So you're taking that into account as you throw that throughout the spring.
How would you compare where Deshaun is at? I know it's only been a couple of workouts here, but from when you first got eyes on him last year when he came in OT?
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to compare, Darryl. I would just tell you he's done a really, really nice job throughout this entire offseason of being diligent about understanding the playbook, understanding his teammates every single day. Yesterday was a really, really good day. Today was a really good day. There are always going to be things that you want to get back and do a little bit differently. That's no different than every player at every position, but he's right where he needs to be.
Kevin, you saw the rookies a couple weeks ago on the field in mini camp. When they come back and you see them on the field like this week, you sort of expect like a couple steps back from them that they have to kind of make up?
Yeah, I think it's a long road for a rookie. So it's as you know, you put in a lot of extra work with your coaches. I mean, those guys meet extra with the coaches every single day. So it's not something that can just come from snapping your finger. You got to work at it. I think part of it is making mistakes, which are going to happen, and that's okay. It's about making those mistakes and making those corrections. So I think that's what we're at the point there with the rookies where we're just getting into these practices. You're going full speed, you're going to make some full speed mistakes. That's okay. So now it's about getting back in those meeting rooms and making corrections.
Kevin, when there is a new rule that you don't have a lot of data on, what's the process in kind of trying to figure that rule out? And also, is there an advantage to being the team one of the first teams that figures out the inefficiency or the loophole or whatever you want to call it?
Probably, yeah. I mean, go back to the 3-point shot. I don't know if anybody thought they'd be shooting this many as they are. I don't know that this rule will have a huge impact. I think that, again, is something that all of us need to work through. It's something that Bubba and I have started to talk about and what it might mean for other teams, what it might mean for us. So we'll try to use the next weeks and over break before we get back together to solidify what we want to do. What everybody else wants to do, we don't know. And then it might be you navigate throughout the season and you adjust to your thought process throughout the season based on how it's going. But I don't know that anybody knows exactly how that rule, I don't know that anybody knows the outcome of that rule just yet.
Good.
Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Coming up to Scott.
What, Daryl?
I gotcha. I will. Whatever you